Okay, well, this is going to be part two. We've already configured our GoDaddy domain and our DigitalOcean hosting. They should be set up and ready to work together. And we've already SSH'd into our IP address. At this point in time, we have to give credit to the man who made this all possible, Sentex. He has some of the best tutorials I've ever seen, and like I've been using all of his resources. He's pretty much what I depend on, and he has it set up so beautiful for us to get it up and running that there's no real reason for me to create a new one. So we're just gonna go ahead and start off by using these commands. I'm gonna have their link is actually on the side as well, but we can actually get it going. Let's see, sudo apt get install Apache 2 MySQL client MySQL server. This is going to be essentially installing the server and MySQL for us. You're going to get a prompt that comes up. Just hit yes. And this is pretty much how I've been initially setting up all of my servers. Or all of my servers. Create a password for MySQL. This is going to be different from the one you created for your server. So we'll let that do its course. A lot of people would actually just copy and paste. I've been told by my mentor and by a lot of people never copy and paste anything. Plus, just by typing it over and over, it really helps me start to remember it, which is something we should all be striving for, I guess. Alright, that's done. Sudo apt get install Apache 2 mod. This is going to be installing the WSGI. It's essentially a library of Apache 2. And it's actually already enabled because you actually see it right here. But we want to just double check anyway to be on the safe side. Already enabled. Okay. At this point, well, something you can do if you hit ls, you'll see you're not really in anything. pwd, this is the drive that you're in the root drive. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch folders here, and we're going to make our Flask app. CD into the folder we just created, and we're going to do it one more time. ls, shouldn't be anything in there anyway, we just created it. We're going to make these two empty folders. Static. Now static is essentially going to be holding our images and our CSS. Templates are going to be holding the templates for our HTML. Nano is going to be the terminal command to create a file, which is the file we're going to be creating here in init.py. Now, I don't recommend copy and pasting, but I don't want you guys to watch me type. So for the sake of this, I'm going to put this in, and I'm going to change this here to return. Hi there, fellow Chippy. And you can see at the top, we're importing Flask. We're creating an app or an instance of Flask. And this part right here is going to be key because you can see that it's just set to the slash. This is actually going to be our home page. So while we're at it, we're going to create our about page. But to do that, you have to start with app.route about. And this is going to be our about page. We will return 1, 2, 3, 4, all about you. And at this point, to exit out of Nano, it's a little tricky. You have to hit Control X. And for people on the Mac, this was a little tricky for me. So it's Control X, not Command X. So you save, yes, and init.py, yes. At this point, if you actually want to see if it's up and running, you can actually test it at this point, but we're not going to just yet. I'm gonna run a few more commands. This is gonna be to update the server because it's got a fresh install of Ubuntu and it doesn't have, I'm not gonna say that it doesn't have, but we can say that it's a little outdated. So get update, get upgrade. For those who are wondering how I was able to bring up the old command, you can actually just press up, the up arrow, and it'll bring back the last command you just used. If you've been doing this for a while and you kind of get lost in your steps, you can actually type history and it'll show you everything you've typed up to this point as well. What do you like to do about the menu list? I'm gonna install the new version. It says you can keep the local version currently, but we're installing new stuff, so we might as well make sure everything's up to date with it as well. We'll let him run his course. And I think it should be finishing up just now. Now, if you're looking at this side and you kind of got lost as to where we are, again, just type history. Or you could just go scroll up. At this point, we're gonna install Python pip, which is a package manager. And this is something that you're gonna be doing quite often. So get familiar with it. Yes, at this point, this is a pretty big download, so I'm gonna take this chance to show you FileZilla. So the easiest way to use FileZilla, you're gonna click on these three little computers up top, go to new site, that IP address that you have. Let's see if we can find it. Here we are. And put that in here where the host is. Protocol is SFTP, SSH File Transfer Protocol. Go to normal for logon type. Your user is root, and the password is going to be the password you created when you logged into your server. I'm not sure why it's taking so long. Make sure you press enter and then it should work. Now the first time you connect, it's going to ask you, this is host key is unknown. It's because you're just connecting for the first time. You can check this I don't, just because I'm still new and I don't want something to happen that I'm unaware of. And if you remember when we logged in the first time, we were in root. So if you back out of root, and if you actually look at some of the commands we've been typing, such as var ww. Where is that? Well, here it is. I gotta make this smaller. Here's ww. Here's the first Flask app you created, or folder. And here's the second Flask folder you created. And this is just to give you an idea of everything we've done up to this point. We've created the two Flask folders, as well as the static and the template folder. And here is our nano init.py that we've just created. Okay, that's just to give you a little idea of what's been going on. At this point, we're gonna install virtual env. And the way I've been explaining virtual env is it creates a virtual environment that you can install your modules in. And the reason this becomes important is if you're using Python 2.7 and somebody else is using 3.5 and the modules conflict, something about the virtual environments will make it possible to use different versions. How it all works, I really can't explain because I don't really understand it too well myself, but we're gonna go with it for now. So you've installed it, and at this point, you're gonna create a virtual environment called Venv. And now you're gonna activate Venv. Source VEN. Huh. HOURGE.